Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing LEGO sets and building them and other LEGO related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the LEGO City Fire Rescue Plane set. This is set number 60413. It has 478 pieces and I paid $55 for this set. This is a new city set for 2024. I tend to like the fire rescue type vehicles from the city line more than some other types, and there is like a fire engine, fire truck set, fire command thing from the last year or two that I really want to get. I'd like to get it on sale. But this one seemed really interesting, really fun. I haven't done a ton of LEGO planes, especially not bigger ones. I've done mostly like relatively small ones, I would say. And so I did want to take a look at this, and the value seemed somewhat fair. And like I say, I like the fire ones, so I thought it would be worthwhile to pick it up. So I did. And now in this video, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy! Okay, so while we look at the build for this LEGO City Fire Rescue helicopter set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. We're on the way to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe I'll get there one day. I appreciate all the help, so thank you very much. And then I wanted to talk about the build. So at the beginning, we have some minifigures. We have a little bit of a terrain side build, but then pretty quickly we get into building this plane, which I very much enjoyed. We start out with the kind of cockpit area, a little bit of the front or the nose of the plane. There's some nice kind of features and functions, internal details in there. There was some functions that I actually didn't know where they were going when I was building in some of the bulk of the plane here, and I wasn't so sure of it, but when it really came together at the end, kind of add that specialty piece at the rear there, which is nice. I think that has some not printed stuff on that piece, unless maybe no, but we add more, like we had a little bit of a function in there with a rubber band, kind of cover that up. We have that layer of black, then the layer of the kind of reflective kind of high vis yellow. We had some blue stuff in there for some tanks of water. We really finished this off nicely, and it still doesn't look like a plane. So now we can work on the wings. We add some other play features here, some hoses to the side, and we can build out the roof and the thruster, one of the wings, and the like engines, the jet engine there. The wings kind of all come together as one big sub-assembly and then put on, so you can kind of get a grasp of the scale of this thing, and that feels really, really good. It's really tiled out. We can add on some of the final details. We add the little window glass panes to the front of the nose of the cockpit there. We add more to the back. We add a little bit of a ramp or a trap door, and then we have a couple final touches here with the landing gear on the bottom, the tail wings and all that, and then that's pretty much it. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this LEGO City Fire Rescue plane set. This is awesome, and there's a ton of stuff to look at, so we will get right into it, and I'll try to go through it relatively quickly. I know I've been a little long-winded on some sets that maybe don't warrant it as much, so I don't necessarily want this one to be an hour long, but I'm just going to go through it, share my feelings, and go from there. So the first thing we'll look at is the minifigures, because you do get some. You get 3 minifigures in this set, and it's pretty interesting. They're well done, and I think they some of them are like the same, and some of them are different, but they all have like different accessories and different stuff. So the first one we'll look at, one of the fire rescue people here, has kind of the fire rescue thing with some reflective stuff, kind of a harness, some different stuff down here, which is really nice. Facial hair is good, so the face printing is nice, matches the hair. There's no alternate face for this one. On the back, we get more of the harness and the fire rescue logo there. And this one gets a helmet as well, so you get a hairpiece and a helmet, which is nice. And I believe this one wears this helmet, which is pretty similar to like the race car helmets you might get in a Speed Champion set. But I really like this. It's kind of that reflective yellow, or like really vibrant safety yellow, which is nice. And there's printing on the torso, printing on the legs, nothing on the midsection, but that's okay actually. And printing on the back, and then they have an accessory per the instructions and everything here that is a kind of a jetpack glider sort of drone thing that maybe it's a glider specifically, but they wear it over their neck, so they have a little bit of the harness in the front. At the back they have kind of some wings here, maybe some lights, maybe an engine, I don't really know, but they also have two stud shooters there, or tile shooters, that are loaded up with the kind of translucent light blue, I believe, to represent water. So this could maybe drop out of the airplane, or and glide down and put out fires on the way, or maybe this flies, kind of on its own. It's a really small accessory, but it's kind of cool, and I think that's kind of fun. Good to have the helmet there. Great to get the alternate hair, which is really nice, and I like to see that. I mean, theoretically, any of these minifigures could do any one of these jobs as one likes, but I am sort of going to go through it per the instructions. The next one we have is another fire rescue person. They have a little bit of a mark on their face over here. They have kind of a ponytail there. This is the same printing and the same legs for the torso and the legs. So the same thing as the other one we just looked at. Same back there. No alternate face for this one. And this one has a helmet piece that I really, really like, which is a slightly different one, which is more of like the classic kind of firefighting helmet type thing here, which has it's dual molded with the black and the yellow here throughout, and it has a little bit of a thing on the back, uses a visor in there that's clear, and that goes over there. So that's a nice looking piece and looks good on there. So a different helmet. And then we have a third minifigure which has another different helmet and their own hairpiece here. So this one is the pilot. So in this configuration it's the pilot, so the torso print is a little different than the other ones here. Has maybe like a carabiner and maybe an oxygen thing here, or an altitude thing here, whatever. Little belt, still reflective stuff going on there, which is good. Different printing for the legs as well, and it just doesn't have like the extra kind of harness stuff going on that the other ones do, and nothing on the midsection. Again, the back is pretty similar but not identical, so there's a couple little differences in there. And this one for the face, they have some like goggles or glasses kind of printed on them, which is nice. And this one does have an alternate face with a different expression, a little more cheery. This one has a third kind of helmet and a different kind of visor. So it has the helmet that doesn't have the chin strap coming all the way around it like this one does, that lower little piece there. And it has the visor that has the kind of like cutout or the indent for a nose or something, but that's kind of more of a pilot's helmet there, a little bit of a different shape. So you get 3 minifigures in this set. They have different functions, and they have different kind of accessories. You also get a side buildy type thing here before we get to the plane. So it's a fire rescue set, so there is a fire included to be put out potentially by the glider jetpack thing or by the plane. So we have this little forest area here, and you make these fire things with the inverted tile and a couple of molded flame pieces, so those can stand up on any of these rounded tiles with the pinhole in the middle of them, or the stud hole in the middle of them, and they can kind of rest on there, and those can be easily knocked over by a stud shooter or something like that if the aim is good enough. So you get a couple of these fire pieces, and I'll show the kind of side buildy thing. It's not too much. We have a couple trees. Those are built like the same, so you get one of these longer kind of tree trunk, palm tree looking pieces here, a big leaf piece, a couple of these small leaf pieces, a little sprig to hold it on there, so those are identical. We get a little bit of these newish fern pieces here in the like dark brown, which is good. And then the rest of this is kind of like a rocky area, some terrain, some different stuff. And like I said, for these on these like rocks or in these trees or in the dirt, you can kind of get these fire pieces to sit in there like that, which is fine. And they're on there a little bit precariously. You can see them kind of wiggling around a little bit, but the way that the inverted tile is, they can kind of stay there, and the hole in the center of that tile kind of helps them be there. So if this wooded area is on fire, the fire rescue team comes to the rescue and will put those out, and they're easy enough to remove as well. So it's a pretty small side build, but it's nice for this. It just feels like, compared to the rest of the set, it feels a little bit tiny, but that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to make a full forest as the kind of side build for play features here, but this feels like it could be the side kind of terrain build for like that fire rescue set that's like the truck and the raft or the boat, or a bunch, maybe an off-road fire rescue thing, or there's a lot of different stuff. And this is not terribly big, but you can see what the tiles look like, or the plates look like rather, on the bottom, and that is all fine. And then the rest of the set is this fire rescue plane. So this is actually pretty big here. It's a little bit hard to see all of it. If I go out a little bit, maybe we can get a better view. And so we can do it like that. That maybe gives us a little more room to work with. But in my current setup here, to get all of this in the frame, I pretty much need to have it at this angle. So this is awesome. It's really, really well done. It's a great set. It's huge. It's got a big footprint. And for the amount of pieces that's in here, it really does a lot with kind of a little. And when you consider the side builds, the projectiles, the minifigures, the fire things, all of this stuff, and then the rest of the pieces are used in this plane, it's kind of amazing what they were able to accomplish here. So we will look at this. One of the first things to notice is there's no stickers in this set, so that's very, very cool. We can see the number 5 here. That is a print. This is a print over here, a little bit reflective. These are the little like heat or like thermometer dial type pieces that are printed. Other side, printed on the back wing, printed on the 5 here. We also have some printed like turbine engine kind of things there, and there's some other stuff on the inside here. So that's very good. No stickers, and I don't know, that's kind of nice. I think a newer thing that I've been noticing in a lot of the newer city sets is they don't have stickers as often as I would have thought. So this is the fire rescue plane. It's got the red, the fire rescue logo. I like the red and black. That's cool. It also has this nice stripe of kind of that reflective yellow that I appreciate, and then there's tons of other details in here to look at. Just looking at the top, we can see we have like the Nexonite shield on the back, a little bit of a light here on the end where they have these little bits that I used to use as propulsion or like thrusters on my spaceships back in the day, these little black pieces there. We have some translucent studs in the green and the red, so those are important for that. I liked how the whoops, I knocked off a piece here. And I really liked how these were made. The shaping's pretty nice. I think it would have been a little bit better if they kind of went under the wing a little bit more as well. If looking at the front, it looks okay because this looks like it does go down a little bit, but on the back it doesn't, but that's all right. We also have a couple extra translucent pieces there. Overall, pretty wide. I didn't ever count how many studs this is wide, but a good amount, so that's very nice. And then this feels very tiled out, very finished. So we have different stuff up here, and then we have the cockpit, the internal details, and some of the other features and functions. So I will remove the front and show this. So this is a one big piece here, and so is the kind of inside windscreen piece that goes through there. So the top is all connected to the nose of this, and then the windows, the kind of translucent color for that, is its own separate thing that you pop in there, which is fine. We add on, you know, some plates, some tiles, some extra little detail in here, kind of stuff like that, which is nice. And looking inside the cockpit, we have the printed kind of slope here for the you know, console or for the different stuff. We have kind of a steering yoke kind of levers here. Over on this side, they use that like minifigure accessory like saw piece or something. To me, it always reminds me of like, I feel like it's kind of a construction piece or something, but it's also been used for like greebly type things and other stuff. And I believe that's supposed to be like a, I guess a lever, but something you can, you know, pull and push for thrust and for brakes and all different stuff. So that's good in there. A minifigure can fit in there. They do have an opening going down to the middle, but it's just a window. Looking at the back, or just in the next back portion, we have printed tile over here, same on the other side, and another kind of console, and they have a place to sit there. I imagine that whoever's back here is maybe the one who's operating these special water cannon jet hoses here, which is another one of the features. So like the kind of glider, there's two stud shooters over here, two stud shooters over here. They have kind of the flexible tube element going, connecting it to the back here where there's this blue portion, which to me seems to be like the water tank. So that's really, really cool. It kind of gives the impression that these are drawing water from somewhere, and then these can be aimed, you know, they have a little bit of limited motion. They can go like straight down, but not too much side to side. They have pretty good range of motion like this. They can't really point like straight as the plane is, like out this way. So it's really mostly to the side, but that's okay. And it's nice to get two of those. So very, very cool. In the middle, we have some stuff that kind of takes up the area where like the water tank is, but on both sides we do have a little like crate type piece that you can put things in. So we have the little box here with the door, and at the other side we have the box with the door. I think you could fit helmets in there, and maybe not, oh, maybe you can't fit that one in there, but I think you can fit the other ones in there. I think there's, you know, there's extra projectiles that could be stored on one side or the other, which is good. I always like when they consider that. So you get a little extra storage there, and then the back is kind of full up, but there is a feature there that I'll get to in a minute. But I just wanted to keep moving towards the rear here, and at the rear we have kind of another feature that we can look at. So inside we have a kind of the empty chamber, which can store different things. There's not a ton of room back there, but I think there's enough room. You know, you can fit the jetpack thing in there pretty well. You could probably fit all of the jetpack and the helmets in there, close that up, and not really worry about it falling out of there. So that's really, really cool. It could also be like a little bit of a ramp or something else. So I can open that back up. You don't get a ton of space there, but that's pretty nice. I don't believe there's really any way you're supposed to access that by lifting up any of these bigger pieces on the top. And because they're all like overlapping with different tiles and different studs and stuff like that. So I'll actually put this all together and just say that, you know, this looks really, really cool. I think there's some, like my nose piece here seems to be like there's a little bit of, it's not like flush with the side as it should be. And so that looks like there's a little gap there. It's the same on the other side. It seems like it's not quite as flush as it should be. So it's not kind of formed totally right, but maybe it's hard to do. But overall, the shaping of this is really good, really consistent. I like the choices. There's rooms for the minifigures, or like there is room for the minifigures in here, which is great. And there's also another feature. So it's, if actually you saw, maybe you might have saw this rubber band in here. So there's a Lego rubber band in here because there's another function to this. You might be able to hear some stuff rolling around in there, and that is another kind of water drop function. So underneath, we have this opening space in there, kind of between these relatively big pieces, like hull pieces there. And that is to drop some water. So if I pull this little piece with the, it's like the modified plate with the bar coming up from it, you go like that. And one of these 2x4 rounded bricks, circular bricks in the translucent light blue pops out, and there's one of those kind of mechanism pieces to on both sides that can operate that, and you can do one at a time, and it's kind of hard for me to show, but they just fall out of there one by one if you want, which is really, really great. And the rubber band helps that go back to its closed position. So you can just open those up and these fall out. I think I have one more in there. There we go. And so that can also drop water onto a potential fire here. So you get those as well. And they actually are stored about where the blue pieces are in the center. So to get access to that, we have kind of some clipped pieces that make up some hinges. We can grab this stud right here if we needed to, and in there they have a really nice system that's built up to fit these pretty perfectly, like using this one tile on the side here to really limit where they can go, using this rounded piece here, and then some nice angles in there to make sure they all kind of move towards the next slot in line, and you can fit all of these pieces in there like that. Close it back up. So that does take up a lot of space in here, but it's such a cool feature. I think it's relatively easy to hold the plane and operate that with the other hand, just with one hand here. It's doable to hold the plane with one hand and then operate it as well. It's a little bit trickier. I have rather big hands, but it is doable like that, which is cool. You might be able to do it. There might be another way to do it. You have to be careful not to cover up the hole, but I can kind of do that however, but also if a person is using two hands to do it, that's like really cool and works really, really well. So I was very pleased to see that be included. And then on the bottom, I kind of already showed, but we have some wheels, so two or like four in the back, some landing gear, and the one at the front can swivel around, which is nice. You can see in here that kind of water droplet there. So this piece just slides back, but it's a little bit, it gets stuck if it's like part way back there, and now these little things are falling off. So there we go, get it to do that. And now I'm going to misplace where that is. Here we go. So that is that. So with the stud shooters here on the side, with the stud shooters here on the kind of jetpack type thing, it's not too crazy to try to shoot these fire things off. And I actually think it's like it's a really cool play feature, and it could also be adapted to like a bigger build or a bigger fire thing, because these, you can be flying by and try to operate these as flying by. It could fly right over the top and drop the droplets down, and one of those droplets can sometimes be enough to like knock all of the fire out at once, which is a really nice feature. And when I was talking about how these can't really point like straight on, that's maybe not as much of an issue, because we have the big water drop, like the big water containers or whatever, the big amounts of water coming out of the center on the bottom, and the ones from down there can't really reach over to the side or fire off at different angles. They can really only drop from down below as this passes directly over something. And then that other stuff is kind of covered by these, and whatever those can't reach can be reached by the person operating the jetpack with them. And then if they're on the ground, they can use even more of their tools and their water to kind of counteract the fire then. So that's pretty much everything that's in here, and I think I went through that relatively quickly for me. I will show the extra pieces so we can see those. So you get an extra of the tire for the landing gear, some clear pieces, tiles, pins, the steering yoke, bucket handle, some of the floral things, the rim, the visor, all your 1x1s, different stuff like that, the printed tile, which is on both sides for the kind of thermometer or a gauge or whatever that is. So that's that. And this set is 478 pieces, and it retails for $55. So I'm kind of amazed at how substantial this is for 478 pieces. This is a big piece here. Certainly some of the like plates for the wings are big. This is relatively big. This printed piece on the back is pretty big. This piece here is big, and like a lot of these kind of panels, or what I've been calling them as like hull type pieces, are relatively big. So there's big pieces in here. This isn't a 4+ set, it's a 6+ set, but there's big pieces that do really make this bulkier and wider and longer than I really would have thought. There's actually not that many extra pieces considering the size of this thing. And I didn't show, but we also have the extra kind of projectile studs to act as water. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loaded in here. There's 6 extras there, and then there's 1 extra as always over in the extra pieces. So there are a lot of big pieces here, some small ones, but this is really, really great, and this is really good value. I don't know. I haven't looked at too many Lego planes, and the ones that I have often feel like they're more quote unquote like brick built. I haven't looked at the like Airbus or like the Concorde or whatever that one is. I've just looked at like smaller planes. This is probably the biggest Lego plane I've ever looked at. I know there have been planes in Jurassic World sets, and I know there have been planes in just lots of different stuff. But, I've looked at spaceships from Star Wars or Quinjets or, whatever, Batman, Batwings, but not like planes like this. I didn't look at the City like passenger plane that came out a year or two ago. I was interested in it. I've seen a Friends plane in the stores before, but I never really got down with them. I really like Fire Rescue City things. It's kind of one of my favorite city sub themes. I just always think they're really, really fun, cool play features. I like the story elements involved with them, and I prefer them as far as like emergency response things. I like fire rescue and kind of paramedics or medical stuff the most, and so this was really, really great to be able to see that. It's packed with features, and that's terrific. I'll actually put the minifigures in here so we can see that a little bit, and we'll load one right there, and I'll put the other one in the kind of front portion of the cockpit. Let me see here. So we'll get them in there. I don't have their hair on or their helmet, but that's okay. That fits on nicely. You know, this is open on the side here. I don't know if these fly at relatively low altitude, that's okay, or with a little bit of imagination, I can kind of imagine that those are more closed off, but it's nice you can see that there. And the front looks really good too. I don't have it studded down all the way, so let me see here. There we go. That's a little bit better. This is really, really nice how that all folds together. We can see the minifigure in there, and then like I said, this one could either be flying the jetpack type thing or be on the ground already. If they need a place for storage, they could be put in the rear, which is fine, and maybe they would drop out of there. So you can get the minifigures in here. You could put the extra ammunition in one of these like boxes on the side. You can fit a lot of this stuff in here. I actually didn't try to fit everything in. So if I put this in there with that guy, can I get that in there? I mean, this isn't probably ideal, but I can get the guy, the minifigure, and the helmets in the rear. I'll throw the hairpiece back there too, close that up, and then these could be put in these little cupboards on the side, like 3 on one side, 3 on the other. It might be a little bit tough to get them in there, but and I don't know if they'll really fall out, but also, the helmets can go in there, or something else. Let's get those in there. And then, the side build stuff and the fire can't really go anywhere on here, nor should it, but I do really appreciate that we can fit all the minifigures in here, all the projectiles, all the droplets that come out of the center are in there, so there's good amount of storage space in here. There's space for minifigures to sit, to operate. There's tons of play potential. It looks great. There's no stickers. It's less than 500 pieces, and this thing is like too big to fit in my area where I record these videos, which is pretty impressive. And I know that means there's a lot of big pieces, but that's totally okay. So all that is to say, I think the value of this set is really good. If it's 10 cents per piece or whatever, I think it's clear that there's a lot of pieces in here that don't fit in with that kind of general rule, and it's not too far off even if they did. So 478 pieces, some people might say 10 cents per piece, let's make it $48 or $47.80 or whatever they want to do, and it's pretty darn close to that. It's $55, so it's maybe like $7 more, which is maybe like, I don't know, and 1/8 of 56 would be like 7, so it's not too far off from 10 cents per piece. And considering the amount of big pieces, the prints, the minifigures, all the different functionality that goes into this, and just the overall like mass and size and visual weight and how fun it is, how good it looks, I think that's a good deal. So it doesn't follow the typical rule that some people go by. I don't particularly go by that. I think this is actually a great value set for $55. And I actually feel like I have like a $55 Lego set here that feels really good. It doesn't feel like it's overpriced because of IP or anything like that. It feels really good to me personally, and I had a ton of fun building it, and it kind of blew my mind, and I just really, really like it. Playing with it is great, and I love like showing the little features and trying to knock the fire out and put that out and save the forests and save the trees. So that's really, really great. And I just have a glowing review for this. This just really made me jazzed. So I'm really liking a lot of the Lego City stuff I've been looking at for 2024 so far, and this is another great one. So big thumbs up from me. And if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego City stuff, more fire rescue stuff, tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shape, size, price point, piece count. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming Lego videos. And if you want to support this channel and support my videos here, you can do that right here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. And I still have the Patreon. It's in the video description on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks. All that stuff helps me a lot, so maybe consider checking that out. It is very appreciated, so thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.